Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. I'm Ash. And it's Storytime Live, episode 130. Holy camole. I'm getting old. I wonder how many that I'll get up to. I wonder how many of these you guys will keep listening to. Oh, my goodness. Wow, what a day today, right? I think this is one of those times everyone will remember where they were the day that when the verdict on Chauvin was revealed. Where were you? I was at my computer. Obviously, that's where I was getting all my information. I tuned out. I was out doing work, and then I got home, and I was doing something. Then whenever I'm just sitting at my desk, I was doing work. I work at home, and I just glanced at Twitter, and then I saw people talking about democracy dying and justice. There's no justice, and I was like, oh shit, the verdict was revealed. So, yeah, how about that? I try not to be political on my channel, but they just keep bringing me back in. Oh, my God. So all day, I've been having to listen to people make all their crazy takes. And, I'm one of those people, I guess. I make my crazy takes. And there's probably plenty of people that think, I don't know shit. You might be one of them. Here's what I do know. To be found guilty of murder, it must be beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't just have to think someone's guilty of murder. You might think Chauvin was guilty. I know when I first saw that video, when it was released so long ago, when that happened, I saw that and I was like, holy shit, I just witnessed a murder. But what you see on camera isn't always what's really happening. And there was a lot of evidence that came to light, and I'm not going to argue any of that evidence. I think the evidence speaks for itself. But what I am going to say is that the prosecution, during the hearing, admitted there was reasonable doubt. Right then, trial should have been over. Boom. There's no reason to go on any further. If the prosecution is saying maybe Chauvin didn't do it, and that's what they said. They said, I'm paraphrasing, but they said maybe it was a drug overdose, or maybe Chauvin killed him. But we don't know. Something like that effect. I was like, what? That's called reasonable doubt. It means there's a possibility that you are allowing for that Chauvin didn't do it. You just admitted it. Now, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm saying there's doubt. And the prosecution admitted as much. Now, here's the deal. I've usually always, pretty much actually since the OJ trial, for those of you who are old enough to remember the OJ trial like I was, I sat through, I mean, that thing was on TV for months. It was like 8 to 10 months that thing was on. It was forever. And I remember sitting and watching that thing, like just being sucked in. It was the first time there was like a mega trial. It was like a new thing, like that we were able to televise the whole thing. I think it was Court TV. There was a whole channel called Court TV and just showed the whole, and it was just people were glued to it. I was one of them. I got sucked in. And about halfway through, I just had like a reckoning. Like I just had an awakening. I was like, snap out of it. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, this isn't for me to worry about. I'm not on the jury. I'm not a judge. I'm not part of the legal team, a defense or plaintiff. Like, this is why we have a justice system. This all happens in court, and everyone that needs to know is presented all the facts. We have an orderly system to do it. We have rules and laws and things that, like, how evidence is played, things to protect from, false play and tampering, and everything to make sure that justice is served to the best of our ability. No system is perfect. I was like, these people are hearing the jury. That's all that needs to happen. You get a trial, a jury of your peers hears it, and then a verdict is given. What I think doesn't matter. Now, you might be curious, what do I think? I think OJ was guilty. And I also think that the prosecution was terrible. And they made some huge mistakes, possibly even planted evidence. And look, man, I think OJ's guilty, but that doesn't mean you get to be bad law enforcement. Like, that's OJ getting off. If he really was guilty, and I don't know if he was, this is my thought, even if he really was guilty and he gets off, that's the price we as in a society pay for having shitty law enforcement that doesn't follow the correct procedures, right? We then need to be outraged at the system and say, fix that, so that OJ number 2 doesn't get off. If Chauvin really was guilty, it's up to us. Like, he needs to get off. This is my opinion, and we need to say fix that so that doesn't happen again. Because the prosecution admitted there was reasonable doubt. There is the judge should have just stopped it. The trial should not have gone any further. But here's the thing: you say, "Well, Ash, he's guilty. I think he's guilty. I think you're crazy." Maybe you can have your opinions, but here's another thing: did you know the judge refused to sequester the jury? Sequestering a jury is what happens when it's a big media thing. Like, it's a big, we don't want jury tampering, essentially. You don't want information coming to the jury outside of the court case that would influence their decision. Now, this happened in the OJ trial because it was a big, huge televised thing and tons of people. You want them to only hold on to the information in the trial, right? You don't want to hear, for example, the jury hears the president of the United States saying, "I hope they find him guilty." That's called jury intimidation. This is why you sequester juries. They go into like a hotel or whatever. They're cut off from outside communication. They can talk amongst each other and stuff, but they can't get outside information like that. But we had people like Maxine Waters threatening violence and stuff, and there needs to be violence in the streets if they don't find him guilty. You had the president of the United States saying I hope they find him guilty, right? And then you have one of the jury members living in the middle of the riot in the, is it Brooklyn Center, where the riots are, has to literally commute from their home through riots to get to the court every day. all these, like, you don't think there was jury tampering on this case, and the judge saying, I'm not going to, if this case didn't warrant sequestering, I don't know what case ever does. We just get rid of sequestering altogether. Like, I'm sorry. So yeah, he of course is a Democrat judge. And when Maxine Waters said her thing, did he do anything? Nope. This is all political theater. Derek Chauvin, regardless of what he's guilty of, is going to prison. I don't know if he's going to face death penalty. I don't think they've done sentencing yet. Whatever happens to him, it's all going to be done on political, not from justice. It's all going to be done to scapegoat. Derek Chauvin, whether he was the result of Floyd's death or not, maybe he was doing what the Minnesota trained him to do as a police. But Ash, you can't say, I can say this because Minnesota gave his family $23 million because that's admitting guilt, that the state was responsible. $23 million Minnesota gave them. Not why? Because Chauvin was a loose cannon and completely just went off the rails and killed someone going against his training. No, they gave them that because they were responsible. Chauvin was just an actor. He was just a guy who's hired to do a job. Maybe he messed up at his job, but he was trained to do this. Evidence shows he was trained to do this. This was all political theater, and rioting happens anyway. We're gonna have rioting. More rioting will go on forever. Yeah, I'm very, very upset by all this. And I'm very just upset having to see all the people talking about, oh, justice was served. I'm like, no, this was a travesty of justice. Like I said, for the reasons I stated, not because I'm stating Chauvin did or didn't do anything. It has nothing to do. It has to do with how the state has handled this. And make no mistake, this was the state versus Derek Chauvin, not the people. This was the state versus Derek Chauvin, right? So the state was putting Derek Chauvin in jail for what purpose? It already admitted it was at fault. And so what is it? Now you got to go with us? And the people, how do the people win this? The people just have to now pay $23 million, by the way, because the state doesn't have any money of its own. So when the state goes, oh, we're so sorry, Floyd family, here's $23 million. It doesn't come out of their pocket. It comes out of your pocket. And then you can get taxed more. And so they're just given money that they don't have. And then, so now Chauvin's family is ruined. And these other cops that are there, they're probably going to get, if he got guilty on all charges. That's so ridiculous. These other cops are shitting their pants because they're getting hammered. If this happened this way, oh yeah, they're all, mark my words, I'm putting the money down now. They're all convicted, all charges. We'll see. I could be wrong. I don't know. Who knows the future? Yeah, I'm sorry. I really honestly do try to avoid politics on this channel. Because I know that's not what you come here for. It's not that I'm shy of it. Obviously, I'm not shy of it. I'm totally cool. As a matter of fact, I'm a little bit aggravated to hold back, if I'm being honest, because I believe our country's going to hell in a hell in a hell basket. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket, and part of the reason, the biggest reason, is because everyone would just rather not talk about it. Well, I don't want to get involved. I don't care. Like, just, oh, okay, we'll just all fucking go off the waterfall. Like, can we, I don't, this isn't pleasant. Me being upset right now, this isn't pleasant for me. It's not like I get up in the morning and go, I hope I can fucking find something to be angry about. No, I don't. Believe me, I don't. My life is fucking got plenty of its own problems. But like I said, it has nothing to do with whether Chauvin did or didn't do something. I do believe there are corrupt cops out there. Oh, I do. And I believe there are cops that murder people. I've seen video evidence, at least, of cops shooting people in the back and then planting a gun. There's a video out there. I don't know what it's called, on YouTube. Cop literally shoots a guy walking away, unarmed, shoots him in the back, then walks up and drops a gun. I was horrified. I was like, okay, that's a guy who needs like, you go away forever or death penalty. Like, that's unacceptable. And I know that happens, but I don't think we should scapegoat people just because we're angry at something. How does ruining another person's life do anything? And it's all it is protecting the fucking evil power structure that's there, right? The people that think Eric Chauvin is the devil and that he needs to go away and die, this victory doesn't do anything for them, because the people that it helps hate those people just as much as you or me. This is why we have this concept called useful idiots. I feel bad for everyone that's been victimized by police brutality or knows someone victimized by police brutality. I'm not at all trying to excuse it in any way, shape, or form. And as a matter of fact, I believe being a police officer puts you in an area of what's called like public trust. And I believe people in areas of public trust need to be held more accountable, right? Doctors, teachers, police officers. When you're put in an area of public trust, the damage you do is more severe because you were put in a position where the public is supposed to trust you, right? Kids are supposed to be able to trust that their teachers aren't going to harm them, right? So if a teacher, for example, molests a child, that to me should be a greater penalty even than just a regular person doing it. It's evil no matter what. But the reason why it needs to be held more accountable is to discourage predators from getting in these positions, right? If you're this kind of person who's like, I might molest a child, but I don't think I'm going to do so as a teacher. Because then I really, you know what I'm saying? Or as a doctor, for an example. We need to make sure these areas, same with the police. I'm going to be a corrupt criminal. Well, you better not do it as a police officer, because then you're really going to get effed, right? We need to make sure that when people get in these positions, they understand, dude, you better not F up. And I also think that should apply to public service. Congress, right? State and federal. You get elected to Congress, president, Supreme Court, elected judge, sheriff, you're in public service. If you're an elected official, you become in the public trust. And anything you do that's wrong, you get twice the punishment, right? Just look, that's what we need. We need more deterrence. So, sorry, that's my soapbox. Let me say hi to everybody. Anyone that's left. Dragon Majesty is first. He says, hi, everybody. I have a feeling Dragon Majesty is not actually first. Because when I do these, when I've set up these notifications way, way, way early, and then I do any editing to the notifications, it erases all the comments. So I'm sure there were comments before Dragon Majesty, but he's the one that's YouTube saved, so I guess you kind of get credit. Congratulations, Dragon Majesty. You won by technicality. Tehillim says, back to DC Rebirth. Yay! I added the yay. Full transparency. Marania says, this is when DC knew what they were doing with their mainline characters and gave readers what they wanted. Amen to that. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Quick shout out to our sponsor who gives us nothing. Stella Artois. Belgium. Anno 1366. That's old. That's a long... Damn, that's like 300 years, over 300 years older than our country. No wonder this beer is so good. It says here, over 600 years of Belgian brewing expertise brought to life in a beautiful balanced lager with a flavorful taste and a clean finish. Stella Artois is meant to be savored. Oh, and savor it I do. Ah, man. Damn, it's good. Good on you, Belgians. Good evening to everyone. And you, Marania, me and my son Jake are huge Flash fans, says Melissa. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad I picked a good book. Let's see. Ronnie says, cool, I like the old 90s series with John Wesley Shipp in the title role. I vaguely remember that series. But I remember when it came out, it was kind of a big deal. You know, that rubber suit that you could like barely move in. It was like, so funny. Let's see. Dragon Master says, Melissa was first. Her comment disappeared. Oh, because she was too early. Tehila says, Ash woke up on the wrong side of the bed, ending soon. Yeah, man, I got to tell you, StreamYard, what I use? Yeah, Streamlabs. Streamlabs is what I use. It saves the last state that it was in, right? So the last time I did a stream, when I end the stream, it saves that state. And of course, it's on the ending soon state. So if I forget to change it back, I don't know. I wish it wouldn't do that. It seems kind of counterintuitive that it would save and on the last slide. It thinks like, I would think every time you loaded up StreamYards, it would default to the first, they're called scenes in there. Like, you know, I just need to be better at stuff. Let's see. Melissa says, DC is garbage now. They killed Bane and replaced him with a woke gender swap version, just like Marvel did to Electro. And they killed off Toyman, my son's Jake's personal favorite villain, along with Bane. Yeah, Bane is a cool villain. Yeah, whatever. Making your villains woke seems really stupid to me, right? Like, aren't the whole point of villains is that they're supposed to be villainous, that they're supposed to have wrong ideas? Isn't that the whole point, right? Like, imagine like retconning Nazis so that they're all like, well, they were woke for their time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just, oh, we got to make them sympathetic and okay, I guess. But, you know, that's the problem is the reason we have woke characters is because we have baby-brained imbeciles writing these characters who are so soft and entitled that they can't handle anything that challenges their perspective, and they cannot handle any slights against them. They are hypersensitive to anything. If you make an insult, you crack a joke or something, they're looking to be offended because they have no conflict. They have no real conflict in their life. If you look at the history of society, when times are tough, you don't see problems like this because people actually have real things to consider. And on a lesser extent, I can attest to this personally, just growing up. If you're a Gen X person like me, you grew up at the end of the Cold War. Russia was the big bad guy, right? They had nukes pointed at us. We thought there could be nuclear war, and the Russians were a big deal. If you probably had a parent who was in the Vietnam War, like I did. My dad was a Vietnam vet. The reason why we were in Vietnam is to fight communism. Before that, the Korean War. Communism was a huge deal, and America rallied together against it. Now, when the Berlin Wall fell, it was a day of celebration. Like, yeah, cool, we ended the Soviet Union. Then just took several years later, Soviet Union collapsed. All these things. It was like, yay, great day for freedom, all this stuff. And in a sense, yes, that's true. But then America didn't have anything to unify against. And so we started going against each other. And we made a better world for our kids. But what did that give? No, it just begot us a bunch of spoiled brats, is what it did. This is why I can't wait for Jupiter's Legacy. I feel like Mark Millar told a story that's very analogous to this about how how's that saying go? Like hard times make for strong men make for easy time, or no, hard times make for strong men make for good times make for weak men make for hard times. So that's what we did. We made for good times, and now we raised a whole new generation of kids that don't know any better. They don't know any hardship. And so they turn against all the stupidest crap. They don't know any better. BLM terrorist ruined Toonami. Oh, geez. Let's see. Oh, remember that timer for half an hour, says to heal him. Oh, look at that. Now that I'm like half an hour in. Let's see. Let's set it for 15 minutes because I'm sure I've been talking. There we go. 15 minutes from now. 15 minutes and we'll be reading comics. For those of you who are bored by me, you can go watch, I don't know, something. It's probably political. I don't know. Let's see. I support my cops. My brother Steve used to be a cop and he was in the Army. I support cops too, in principle. But if you're a bad cop, you're no longer a cop to me. You're a criminal. Let's see. Melissa says the glove doesn't fit. You must acquit. Yep. Impeach Biden and Harris. Have you noticed that? Did you hear about that, by the way, guys? That all the federal agencies have been instructed to refer to the administration as the Biden and Harris administration. It's the first time in history that the vice president was attached. First time, right? It's Trump administration, the Obama administration, the Bush administration, Clinton administration, all these before, right? It wasn't ever like, Trump Pence administration. That wasn't it. The vice president is really just kind of a bench warmer. He doesn't really have any official capacity to do much. They're just there in case something happens to the president. We have a set person that can take charge. We don't have to go through a giant election process. Can you imagine that? Like, if you're in the middle of something and the president died and we're like, oh, well, let's have a huge election. Like, you can't just do that. You need to have someone ready to go. That's what they're there for. If you don't need them, they don't get called up. They don't have any official capacity. But they know Biden is a puppet. He is a puppet. Regardless if you think, you can hate Trump all you want. You can be diehard liberal, but you should not be supporting a literal puppet. He doesn't even... They have referred to Harris as the president multiple times. The Harris it's crazy, but people ignore it because that's what their collective tells them to do. They can't think for themselves. Melissa says she's referencing South Park. South Park did a huge... I love South Park because they make fun of everything. Ronnie says, wow, your viewpoint on the cop is reflected in the John Walker storyline of Falcon Winter Soldier. Walker was trained to kill, and when he followed training, he was cut loose. Oh, there's probably a reason why. I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Falcon Winter Soldier, by the way, so I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to ask you not to spoil anything. But there's a reason why when I stopped watching, I was like, wow, John Walker is the best character in this show. This is not how it's supposed to be. It's called Falcon Winter Soldier. I really just want to see a U.S. agent show. I'm just like, fuck these other guys. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I'm not dissing these characters. I just wasn't buying what Disney was putting out. I'm like, these guys are boring. I'm not real big on Sam Mackey. Is it Sam Mackey? Is that his name? I think no, Sam is the character. I'm like mixing the names. Anthony Mackie. Sorry. I'm not really big on him as an actor anyway. I feel like he's a poor man's Wesley Snipes. I think he tries too hard. Whenever I see him on screen, I feel like he's trying to like have that tough guy swagger that Wesley Snipes had, but it like doesn't come across right. It's always it's very subtle, but it just always, I can't tune it out, and I try. I don't have anything personally against the guy. He does, sometimes actors just don't rub you right or whatever. And the guy who plays Bucky, I think he does a fine job. I like the character Winter Soldier. I think it's interesting, but not in this show. I'm just like, I don't care about either of these two weirdos. Like, you know what? Part of it, I don't want to get into Bucky's head and be all psychoanalyzed and all this stuff. Bucky is just way cooler when he's effed up and he kills people. Like, who cares? Like, getting in touch with his feelings and his inner. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I just wanted to see Lethal Weapon. Like, that's what this show is. It screams Lethal Weapon, right? Down to the part where Bucky, Winter Soldier, is the lethal weapon that the show was. You know, remember when Riggs was the lethal weapon because he was this badass, knew all these. Like, that's the deal. And then you had the comedic cop banter between the two. I'm too old for this. Like, just give us the buddy cop banter, fun action, beating up bad guys. That's what I want. I think that's what everyone wants. Anyways, I'm going to continue watching it. I was watching it. I'm going to be watching it with my buddy and his family because we do this thing, you know, during dinner time, and he wants to watch it, but he wants to wait until the whole thing's out. I mean, like, he binge it. He doesn't like to do the thing where I like to do, where I wait week after week. So I was just like, I'm going to watch these currently and I'll watch them again. But I was like, oh, I have to watch these again. So no, I'm just going to stop. Yeah. But I've also, because I've been keeping up on other shows that have been catching my attention even more, like Invincible. I really have been enjoying Invincible. It started off a little rocky. I was like, I don't know about this show. But then after the third episode, I was like, well, but still, that week waiting for the fourth episode, I was like, oh, I kind of want to see what happens. And then I watched the fourth episode, and I was like, I kind of can't. And now that's what tells you. When you have to wait like that, when it makes you wait a week, and you're like, oh, just give me, like, you start building up, needing that next fix. When you can binge, it's just too easy, and you don't appreciate it as much. So, yeah, I've been enjoying Invincible. Forrest Gump is in office. No, Forrest Gump was a good person, Melissa. We could only be so lucky to have Forrest Gump in office. Let's see. I won't spoil Falcon and Winter Soldier for you, but I will say that they should have done 8 or 12 episodes instead of 6. They only did 6? Are you effing kidding me? They only did 6 episodes? 6? That's okay. That's asinine. Because the first 2 episodes are a waste. The first episode, nothing happens other than a cool action scene just to get you excited and go, look what we can do. Look at those cool visual effects. But in the greater sense of things, it doesn't matter to the story. It's just showing off the special effects. And that, you only have 6 episodes and you... All right. I'm not going to get too upset because 6 almost hour-long episodes is still a really long movie. So whatever. Not going to get riled up. Let's see. Anthony Mackie should have been cast as Rhodey from the get-go instead of old man Grump Don Cheadle. I don't know. I always thought Rhodey was a little bit of a grump. It's tough. I don't know. Anthony Mackie would have come off kind of young too. I mean, it's one thing you're changing actors. I wish they would have just kept the same actor. Why didn't they just keep the same actor? I mean, I know why. Because it was a labor dispute, money. But the MCU is the most profitable movie franchise in history. That includes being over Star Wars. And they weren't paying, what's his name, very much. So I get that he wants more money. Pay the fucker. The MCU, just... I'm sorry. When you're making billions of dollars a movie, just pay the dude. That guy, I think he made like $250,000 on the first film, right? And then I think he asked for less than what they were paying Brie Larson for her first film. So I don't have any sympathy. And he was the best Rhodey. He got it right. But whatever. Disney doesn't give a shit. Let's see. When he dares run foreskin, what? Is the F and W? You know nothing, Jon Snowden. Hello. That's a great name. I like that. Is the Falcon and Winter Soldier slogging away? I left out to watch Westworld and Invincible. I'm over Disney and Netflix for a minute. HBO Max and Amazon only. Westworld is a great show. Great. Super high concept. Super complicated plots. So if you're the kind of person that just wants easy to digest CW TV shows, probably tune out of Westworld. It's probably not for you. Westworld will make your brain hurt in a good way. If you're one of those kind of people that like these cerebral sci-fi, make you think, probably have to watch it more than once. But it's so well done. The acting performance, it's fantastic. And did you know Ed Brubaker was one of the writers of season 1? FYI. Invincible's pretty good. It's making me actually want to go back to the comic book, which is a good thing because I read the first 6 issues of the comic and I was like, I don't know, this isn't really doing it for me. I know Maranya really liked it. So Maranya, by the way, Maranya, you should check out Invincible because you like the comic book, probably like the show. I'm going to go back. I'm going to check out the comic book again. That's how good the show was to me. It's not a perfect show, but it's good enough. It just has a certain it factor to it. Cinema Snob did a video about the Forrest Gump porn. Oh my God. What are you watching, Melissa? Cheetah was like a grumpy oatmeal from the start. He was just, yeah, I don't know. He definitely, I think Terrence Howard, that's the name of the actor. I was blanking his name for a bit. Terrence Howard had a bit more affection. Like I felt, even though he was kind of like grumpy, how I kind of want my roadie to be like to Tony, I could buy that they were friends because I could feel this sense of affection from him to Tony. Where Cheadle, I didn't. Cheadle felt kind of like more asshole. I don't think he got the part. I think what he was trying to do, and probably the directors too, directing him to act that way, were like, yo, have this sort of attitude. This is your motivation. This is your attitude towards Tony. I don't think he quite grasped it quite as well. Well, what are you going to do? You get a different actor, you're going to get a different take, Biden is corrupt and my sons will continue to call him out. Everyone should call him out. That dude is as corrupt as the day is long. It's weird that people want corrupt presidents. Not arguing your politics. If you're a liberal, you're conservative, whatever the way you think, whatever your politics are, I'm going to respect you. I just don't understand why people want corrupt presidents, regardless if they share your politics. Ronnie says, what is Invincible on? I only have Disney Plus for streaming. It's on Amazon Prime. So, I make the bad assumption that everyone has Amazon Prime because it's such a good thing. So yeah, I recommend Amazon Prime because not only do you get a streaming service, you get all the benefits of Amazon Prime. So I've been an Amazon Prime subscriber since the only thing it gave you was the free 2-day shipping. Like, it pays for itself. And if you're the kind of person that says, well, I don't really order much stuff online, so I don't need it. And I go, yeah, that's because you don't get free 2-day shipping. When you can order a toothbrush and have it delivered tomorrow for free, you start to realize how awesome Amazon is, because you get these prices that are super fucking cheap. And then it just dropped at your door. You don't have to get in your car. Now, getting a toothbrush is pretty easy. You're just going to get it at the grocery store. But sometimes you're looking for an item that you may not know if it's at the first store you go to. You have to go all over the place. And a lot of stores aren't even carrying stuff like they used to. Especially if you're looking to buy, say, CDs. Like music on CD. Good luck. So many places don't carry anymore, but you can go on Amazon, new album from a band I like, buy, And the CDs are a great example because Amazon has double benefit. Not only do you get it delivered to you like 2-day shipping free, but they have this thing where you get the digital version of the album instantly. So you go, I want to buy this CD, then they ship it to you, and then here's the digital version so you can start listening to it right now. Like, I was like, that's awesome. Uh-oh. There's the time limit. Let's see. Snatchface the Fool has joined us as Sup Comics people. Sup yourself, Snatchface. I was just mistaking you for someone else for a second. So I was about to make a comment to you, but it's like, no, someone else actually that I was thinking of wasn't you. Let's go into some comics. That's what you're here for. Get ready behind the scenes. Should have had this stuff already. All right. Let's see. John, you know nothing. Jon Snowden. Oh, John. You know what I man. Oh my God, I'm so not with it today. I just read your name as You Know Nothing, Jon Snow, and I was like props already because first of all, I love Jon Snow and I love Game of Thrones and all that stuff. Jon Snow's my favorite character. I'm a huge admirer of Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden is an American hero. God bless you, Edward Snowden. I just didn't even see that, and that's a beautiful amalgamation of a name. You Know Nothing, Jon Snowden. Hopefully you're not making fun of both of those guys. That would really break my heart. He says, I use Amazon to buy lots of stuff for my dog. Fast. Isn't that rat? You got a lucky dog where you're just like, I pay, what is Amazon? It's like $100 a year, I think, for Prime. I think they actually raised it. Might be $120 a year now. Yeah, that would probably make it's $10 a month. Which is not a big deal. I mean, you're paying more than that for Netflix. Your dog. Anyways, hit that like button, says Snatchface the Fool. I would appreciate that if you like what you're hearing. If you don't like what you're hearing, feel free to hit the dislike button. I understand. I won't be offended, but I would appreciate some feedback of how it could be better for you. So I don't want you to dislike anything that I'm saying. Let's see. Cheadle's 56, going on 57 this year. He looks like he's 77. Cheadle looks like he's 77? I don't think Cheadle looks like he's 77. Come on. RDJ is 56. He looks like late 40s or thereabouts. I don't know if he looks like late 40s. But then again, I'm late 40s, and I think I look a lot younger than Robert Downey Jr. But he does keep himself in good shape, so I would see. Hey there, Snatchface the Fool, and You Know Nothing. I'm just going to say You Know Nothing because it's a long name to say. His name is Lucky. Well, there you go. He's a lucky dog, and he's got a good name. I find that dogs tend to be fitting of their name. You ever notice that? I don't know if that's just me, but every dog I've had, their name, they've lived up to their name in some way where I'm just like, yeah, your name's right. I don't know if that's just my brain messing with me, just wanting to see what's there. But for example, my previous two dogs were named Niobe and Lilu, and they're both passed now, sadly. But they were like sister. Well, they weren't officially blood sisters, but you call your dog. Anyways, so Niobe was the dog I got first. And I named her Niobe because I'm a huge Matrix fanatic. So that's where she gets the name from. And I like to name my dogs after things that I'm into, but not use like the super, like I would never name my dog Neo. That's just cringe. Like it's too obvious. I like using like subtle. So Niobe is a small character in the Matrix, but she's an important character, and more importantly, she's a big personality, and she's a bad bitch, right? And this is gonna sound racist too, but my dog was a black dog, and I was like, now he's black. And I was like, whatever. So anyways, I named her Niobe. I like the character Niobe. I love the Matrix. I love my dog Niobe, and that dog was also a bad bitch. Like, not that she was like beating up other dogs, but she was really smart, really fierce, and really willful. Really willful. Then Lilu came later. And Lilu, for those of you who aren't as nerdy as me, I can't guess already where she's named from. That's the fifth element. The fifth element is Lilu. The fifth element is love. And her name was Lilu. And it was the most loving dog I've ever had in my life. Like, this is the most pure loving dog. Just loved everyone. Yeah. So those two just so perfectly lived up to her name. And my current dog is named Kuro, but I didn't name her. I adopted her from a family that couldn't take care of her anymore. And I don't like renaming. I feel weird renaming animals. If I get it from the pound and I don't know what their original name is, then obviously I got to name something. But if you gave it a name, I'm like, you know. And Kuro just means black in Japanese. So it's a Japanese word for black. So it's not creative in any way. And she is a black dog. So I guess she does live up to her name that way. So I'm just going on and on and on. We're supposed to get into the comics. So real quick here, I like to cover sales on comics. Does Comixology even have sales going on? Doctor Who still on sale. Marvel Nightcrawler sale. Oh, so here we go. You can get lots of comics that have something to do with Nightcrawler on sale. I like Nightcrawler, but oh my god, you couldn't pay me to read a Jason Aaron book. I can't. Oh my god, I like Nightcrawler way too much to read Jason Aaron doing Nightcrawler. I'm not even gonna go look. Speaking of Jason Aaron, here's the Total Destruction of Thor run. Not even for these prices. I don't even want to read. Jason Aaron's such a bad writer. I don't understand why people like him. Atomic Robo. Marvel X-Men Dawn of X sale. Oh my god. What's the matter, Marvel? Your shit doesn't sell? It's already on. Look at these discount bin prices on Dawn of. Oh my god. Not even for these prices. Terrible. I see these prices and I realize how much money I wasted on this shit. The only thing worth reading here is House of X, Powers of X, which I recommend. And as $8.49, this is the whole run of both series, which really should have just been one series, but that's Marvel gimmicking you, treating you like you're stupid. But yeah, $8.50, 12 issues. This is one of the best X-Men things I've ever read, which shocks the hell out of me when I read X-Men written by the same guy, and it's one of the worst things I've ever read. But there you have it. Oh my god, this stuff is not old. It's oh my god. What a joke. It can't even sell. It's supposed to be, I thought X-Men was supposed to be one of the best selling things at Marvel. Here's something I'm curious about. Transformers, the manga. Some DC Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad sale. Yay. Some manga. This seems like this Dark Horse spy stuff's been forever. Ahoy comic sale. I don't understand. So a long time ago, I did a review of The Wrong Earth #1. And it's actually really good. It's really, really good. But Ahoy made this comic such a pain in the ass to get. I couldn't get issues 2 and 3 because their print runs were so freaking small and they weren't announcing when they were coming. I think they launched like issue 2 like 2 weeks after issue 1. And so like I didn't know when to come. And then because the print runs were so small, I couldn't find them in back issues. So I was like, forget this, Ahoy. Just, I don't think you understand how to do trade. Like $9.99 on sale. That's not the right price for a digital trade. I'm not going to pay. Are you out of your mind? $19.99 normally digitally? You better be giving me hardcover for that price. Oh, yeah, by the way, Criminal Cast tomorrow night, part 2. We're going to make some changes to our format a little bit. We're going to be covering the final 3 issues of Cruel Summer. And hopefully the changes will make the show better, more entertaining. But join us tomorrow for that at 8 p.m. Pacific time. But the reason I mention that is because I keep talking about how you can buy Cruel Summer. It's on Amazon for $15, hardcover. It's like 9 issues worth of comics. More than Wrong Earth. Super good book, hardcover, brilliant. You'll love holding it in your hand. It's $15, free shipping if you have Amazon Prime. All right, yeah. There's just rest. Oh yeah, The Boys is amazing. Invincible is probably amazing. I'm gonna start reading it. Oh yeah, look at Unlimited. First 10 volumes are on Unlimited too. So if you don't want to invest, these are the compendiums, like 50 issues per compendium. These are like telephone books in physical form. All 3 compendiums equal the entire near 150 issue run. I think it's like 144 issues. You can get it all right here. Super cheap if you're an Invincible person. This is a good time to be selling it right now. Kirkman knows what he's doing. I feel like he's the only person in comics that knows what he's doing. All right, here we go. Thank you guys for putting up with me. Ronnie says, now we know why John Wick resonates so much with Ash. Yes, dude. Yes, there is nothing. I'm a huge, you guys keep me talking forever. One of my most valued traits in life, in the world, is loyalty. If you find someone who is loyal to you, treat them like gold. Treat them better than gold, because it's more valuable. Loyalty. And it's something that is very hard to find in this world. A lot of times you think people are loyal to you, and you don't realize that they're not until it's tested. And that can be a very hard thing to take when you're with someone who's like, you thought, oh, it's this person that's got my back, they're loyal, and then all of a sudden it's tested and they bail on you. That's a bitter pill to swallow, to put it lightly. So loyalty is something that means a hell of a fucking lot to me. And you'll never find anyone that's more loyal to you than a dog. I tell people your dog will be more loyal to you than your wife. I know a lot of wives are going to disagree, but sorry. Sorry to hear about your pooch's ass snake snatch face. Fortunately, it's been several years now, so the pain has subsided. But when Niobe died, it was one of the most tragic days of my life. Went to the veterinary hospital like at 4 a.m. Something was wrong with her. Went to the hospital to check her out and didn't come home with her. and that's tough because it's like unexpected. When you have a dog and it's old and you know it's on its last leg, and you're like, you just mentally, you can start preparing. I'm not saying it makes it easy, but at least you're kind of prepared. But for your dog, all of a sudden, like, oh man, what's wrong? Dog's acting weird. And putting her down that night, and then it's on top of that, it's 4 a.m. So like your wits are not there anyway. I was a mess. I mean, I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about that night, but it's fucking terrible. Let's see. Hey, that is a creative name. My aunt's black Irish setter dog was named Blackie or Dog, depending on the mood. She answered to both. Have you heard about the Hickman box supposed to be Legion story? Jesus, DC, what a kerfluffle. Yeah. Hickman reportedly wanted to come to DC to do Legion of Superheroes, but apparently they decided to give that to Bendis instead. So, nope. They could have had Hickman. Well, I mean, they could have had Hickman and Bendis, I suppose. Why they'd want Bendis, but let's see. I really enjoyed the Hickman East of West cast you did. Oh, thank you. I didn't know you were there, but now I do. Thank you. I'm still reading it. We're doing another one. This coming up Monday will be the next episode. Speaking of East of West and Hickman fans, there's Jimmy in the chat. Says, hey. All right, here we go. The Flash, Volume 1, Lightning Strikes Twice. by Joshua Williamson, writer. Joshua Williamson, FYI, is one of my favorite writers in the mainstream industry. This is the comic he's most notable for. He wrote the entire Rebirth run of The Flash. It's like over 80 issues. Quietly just was over there kicking ass, taking names when everyone else was getting credit for stuff. I have never read, I have read some Flashes. I've read very little of the Rebirth run. I read the year one, which comes much later down the road, I think in the 70s or 80s. I forget where exactly that falls, but that was a cool story. Anyone should read it. I'm not a big Flash guy. I've never been speedsters, and this is not my thing. But I have been watching the Flash TV show on CW with the family, and somewhat enjoying it. But so I figured, you know what? When I was trying to think of something to do for the show, I was like, I've never done Flash. Why don't we do some Flash? So sorry while I drink in your ear. That's just how it goes on the Ash on Comics Storytime Live. You get to hear me making sounds and gulping in your ear. Hopefully it's not too annoying. Hopefully you guys got a good beverage for yourself. Maybe got some popcorn, your favorite snack. Full disclaimer, this is going to be a cold read. I've never read these particular books, so I might stumble through some things. Also, since I'm reading panel to panel and not seeing the whole page, sometimes it's difficult to say who's saying what, and I'm not a professional voice actor, so don't expect AAA awesomeness. My name is not Mark Hamill, despite you may thinking so. Here we go. These things shouldn't happen in Central City. Wait, hold on a second. Does it say which issues? It doesn't say. Yeah, this is the time when DC was really bad at like saying what they were, what the trades encapsulated. So it doesn't say like what issue this is. You just go right into it. I think this is the DC Universe, the DC Rebirth Flash #1, which are the one-shots that all the Rebirth titles got before they launched the series. That's what I was checking for. Sorry to be interrupted. These things shouldn't happen in Central City. Female DOA, multiple stab wounds. The victim's son saw the whole thing. Said a monster did it. Poor kid. His entire life is going to become about this. The Vic was probably killed by the husband. I wouldn't rush to judgment, detective. That's how justice can be abused. Pause. Rush to judgment. Justice can be abused. Seems kind of timely. Continuing. And the Vic's name is Heather Macy. Ah, dang, Barry. You know we didn't mean... It's okay, detective. I know you didn't. No hard feelings. We all put our foot in our mouth sometimes. Scene's all yours. Turn the evidence over to me, Alan. Why? Is this a special case, Director Singh? Yes, for you. I can't have you letting this case get too personal, and I'm blowing it. I'm assigning it to another CSI. Thanks for your concern, but Miss Macy's death resembling my mother's murder is exactly why I need to stay on this case. If my mom's crime scene had been handled properly, it wouldn't have taken 15 years to solve. Well, how about after you process the samples, you come over for dinner? Did Hartley put you up to that? Maybe, but the invite is from both of us. In that case, I would... Barry! Love to. Alan? Yeah, just a headache. I think it's... I'm going to kill them all, Flash. Ah, jeez. What? Are you okay, Alan? This is what I was worried about. You're taking the rest of the night off, Barry. Zoom! Not again! Ah! Barry, I'm gonna pull you off this case. Sorry, it's nothing. I'm going to the crime lab to analyze the evidence. At least let me have one of the detectives give you a ride. Thanks, but I'd rather walk this off. Never had that happen before. Are these visions a new power? A few years ago, I was just a lowly forensic scientist with Central City PD. Then one night, I was hit by lightning and thrown into the shelf chemicals. Sorry. See what I was talking about? Then one night, I was hit by lightning and thrown into a shelf of chemicals in my lab. I was in a coma for a few days. Then I woke up for what I thought the world had stopped. But that lightning gave me access to an energy I call the Speed Force that imbued me with the ability to move at insane speeds. I decided to use the powers to help others find justice as the Flash. No idea why I'm having these visions. Could it have something to do with the case being like my mother's? Is it a coincidence or something more? When I was young, my mother was murdered, and the courts were convinced that my father was the killer, so he was sentenced to a life in prison. But then I found out that a madman from the future named Eobard Thawne, a.k.a. Professor Zoom, killed her in a game of revenge against me as the Flash. I defeated Zoom and was finally able to clear my father's name. And he's become my sounding board ever since. What do you think, Dad? The autopsy prelim report isn't revealing much. Son, you're the crime scene expert. I'm just a doctor who lost his license a long time ago. Why are you really here? I just thought you might have some insight into the case. Barry, remember when you were 7 and you claimed Miss Bandini's Great Dane knocked over the fence? And you knew I was lying? Mm-hmm. This case, it's a lot like Mom's. And ever since I started it, I've been having these visions, like waking nightmares. I saw Zoom in one and I was trying to kill him. You caught your mother's killer, and you proved my innocence. Thawne is still behind bars at Iron Heights. This case was a big part of your life for so long, and now it's closed. My guess is that you're probably still trying to process that. That's not it. This was different. It feels like the Speed Force is trying to warn me about something. What would require it to have some kind of mind of its own, right? Has anyone ever tried researching the Speed Force? Star Labs has run some tests on me. Not you, but the Speed Force itself. The energy that it comes from. There's a treaty between Argus, Star Labs, and the Justice League that the Speed Force is off limits. No experiments. Okay. And then I stand by my first opinion. Your mind is working overtime to solve this case because it's personal. And it's drudging up all kinds of bad memories. But, Barry, I know I wasn't around for a lot of your life, but as soon as I found out your mother was pregnant with you, I prayed every day that you'd be more like her than me. And thankfully, I got my wish. But just like your mother, you stress too much. Are you telling me I need to slow down? Whatever you want to call it. But the moment you let some of the weight off the world off your shoulders, what you're looking for will probably find you. My dad is a smart man, but he doesn't understand that I do all my thinking when I'm on the move. I hit a rhythm with the speed where my muscle memory takes over and I get lost in thought. I get back to the crime lab and work the Macy case, but my equipment doesn't have the super speed and takes time. So I try to be useful as I wait, help out as the Flash where I'm needed, and maybe have a social life on the side. Hey, Iris, I got to the theater a little early. Are you? The movie is tomorrow, Barry. Wow, you can't get being early right. But I find that not all of my days have to be about solving crimes. It's about helping people. That's the thing that lets me clear my head off the most. That allows the Speed Force to show me what I was missing. Raccoon. Hold on a sec. Sorry about that. I had a sneeze coming on, and I was like, I don't want to do this right in the middle. So I had to fight it off. And all right, we're back. This isn't like the visions before. This is much stronger. And those felt like those. This isn't like the visions before. This is much stronger. And those felt like nightmares, while this feels like going home. The figure is hard to make out, fading in and out like a lost signal. It tells me what I need to talk to Batman about a letter from his father, and then thanks me for a life that I don't know about. I don't understand. I hope one day you will. You were right, Barry. Every second was a gift. That's why I won't die in anguish. I'll go with love in my heart. Goodbye, Barry. Goodbye. Wally? Raccoon! I'm back. You said my name. You brought me back. I'm so sorry. My God. How could I ever forget you? And like a bolt of lightning, visions of a life I never knew come back to me. Wally was Iris's nephew. He was struck by lightning just like me and became Kid Flash. We ran together side by side. He was a teen titan. Time out. So, for this particular part of the story, you really want to read DC. It's called DC Universe. DC Universe Rebirth #1. It's a one-shot issue. That's all it's called. It's written by Jeff Johns. And holy shit, is it fucking awesome. it's so good. I think it's really good. Anyways, this whole story about Wally coming out of the Speed, way better done than here. This is sort of like a rehash in case you didn't read that book and you're like, where the hell did Wally come from? So sorry, I just wanted to point that out. A bit of a spoiler, unfortunately. Let's see. Ryan says the flash art looks good. Barry and the other guys' faces look rectangular, almost gaunt. The Flashpoint. Wally before Tom King butchered him, right? But let's think of happy things, Melissa. Let's see. You know nothing. The magic of lightning and chemicals, and Jim Lee editing away the way powers work. Well, isn't that his origin was from? He got hit by lightning and the chemical. I mean, that goes way back to the old school Flash, like from when did Barry Allen come in? The 60s? Was he 60s or 50s Flash? He's old. Anyways, moving on. Wally tells me about the Flashpoint, about how I tried to go back in time to stop Zoom from killing my mother and changed history, that her memories have been manipulated, that other lives have been forgotten, that I broke the time stream. I created this nightmare. Are you sure it wasn't my fault? It wasn't, Barry. It was something else. Someone else. My head is still racing, trying to catch up to my heart. But even with my memories a mess, I can't honestly say I've ever seen Wally look so scared. I can feel it. Even now, Barry. We're being watched. I thought the Speed Force was warning me about something, but it was trying to get me to remember. If I hadn't, I could have lost you forever. You couldn't have known. Whatever it is, whatever's out there, it won't stand a chance against us now that you're back. That's a Flash fact. We have to tell Iris. Come on, Barry, no. Iris is my friend. She'll understand. Councilman Pelsky, Iris West, Central City citizen. Is it true you used money to fund your own vacation? The people of Central City deserve to know. Iris is your friend? Barry, I'm not ready to tell her. And I don't think you are either. There are pieces of our memory that are missing from both of us. They didn't just take time. They took our lives. They took our friendships, our loves. They took my wife, Barry, Linda. I already tried talking to her. Your wife? I didn't know. Neither did she. I can't go through that again with our language. Not a kid's show, FYI. Sorry. Flash should not be it's not a title. I just hate this whole thing, this modern concept of comics where superhero names are mantles to be passed down. And I know sometimes that can be the case. Wally West was Flash because Barry Allen was dead. So he picked up this torch and he carried forward as the new Flash. But he never would have done that had Barry not been dead. I guess I'm just venting to nothing because this has been so long. I just hate "You're a Flash." Maybe if it would have just said "You're Flash 2," but saying "You're a Flash" is just basically Barry stating like it's a thing you can become, like a Jedi. Like you're a Flash now. Like, no. Recognize it's an identity. Say, you're Flash too, and respecting that. I don't know. I'm just venting. Moving on. I'll use the Speed Force to manifest a new costume when I forget we could use the Speed Force that way. Have you still been using the ring, Barry? I'm going to talk to Batman. He's probably already on the case. Don't try to take this on alone, Wally. If you discover anything, or you're in trouble, you don't even have to say it, Barry. I'll find you. We don't say goodbye because we know we don't need to. Barry saved me. Wally thinks that I saved him. That's twice he's given me this life. That I brought him back. The greatest life a kid could ever ask for. But really, Wally brought me back. Yeah, that's nice. I appreciate you, Josh Williamson, recognizing as respecting the character and the heritage. Good job. Meanwhile, you get a road sign, welcome to Gotham. I was right. Batman is already working an angle. Everyone thinks of Bruce as a detective. But to me, he'll always be a scientist. He uses forensic evidence to solve cases, so I've always felt we were kindred spirits. Bruce tells me that a man made of lightning appeared before him earlier tonight. It sounds like Wally, but Bruce didn't recognize him. As the man vanished, his lightning embedded a smiley face button within the wall of the Batcave. Ooh. I have read that Flash story too, the button. Yeah. Remember when this was all going somewhere? Rebirth. Doomsday Clock was all a part of it. The smiley face, like and then Didio pulled the plug and said, nope, Doomsday's not going to matter, nothing. They fired Dan Didio and they said, Doomsday still doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, we're just going to go into this new Infinite Frontier nonsense bullshit and forget everything ever fucking existed and just flush the toilet and move on while we take another dump and fill the toilet up. And comic fans are just buying it up. Oh, okay, whatever. No, this is bullshit. Comic fan, you should stand up. You should stand up and demand your rebirth back. This was DC apologizing for New 52. This was DC standing up and saying, oh, look, we are bad. We made a mistake. We thought we were doing something good. We effed up. Please forgive us. Here's good books again like you wanted. The characters that you wanted fixed. We're holding the line at $2.99. We're doing all these things good. DC was doing everything great right here. You should demand this again. Sorry, off of my soapbox. Back to the story. Before running any tests, Bruce first thought that the Joker left it as a clue to another twisted game. It wouldn't be the first time. Once I fill in Bruce on Wally and what he said about the missing years and how we're being watched, it's clear we're on the same case. We match samples from the letter that I gave him after the flashpoint with the button and try to connect the dots and share our theories. We talk for a long time. I haven't stood this still in years, talking with Bruce. We want to tell the League, but we're not even sure what we'd be telling him. Bruce loves his secrets, but he hates to lie. But what we're discussing can't be true. It's impossible. A part of me wants to make a joke to lighten the mood, but Superman once told me there is no laughing in the Batcave. The blood on the button has traces of a radiation unlike anything we've seen. I've raced through time and space, and we've dealt with distant universes and alternate realities, but something about this feels much more personal. We don't know enough yet, and it'd be unwise to rush to judgment, Barry. But we should keep investigating this together. Batman took the words right out of my mouth. I've had cases like this before. No real leads and only the evidence to follow. But if this unseen manipulator is what the Speed Force was trying to warn me about, then I know that Batman and I will solve it. Did Alan ever get the crime scene results back? Don't need him. The husband confessed. Alan likes to give speeches about justice and how we do our jobs. But let me tell you a little something about Barry Allen. That guy has too much going on. And sometimes Barry Allen makes mistakes. All right. So, yeah, that was, judging by the cover, that was the DC Rebirth, yada, yada. Let's see. Take a look here. All right. That was Dan Didiott's assigned New 52 that did that. I'm talking about Butcher. Wait, what? I don't know what the... I don't know what you're referring to, Melissa. Too much time has gone on. Speedster would better? I don't know what that means to him. Better yet, he's Dr. Fat Hatton? What? And let's see. Flashpoint was originally not a reality-altering story. It was really just a cool Flash time travel story. Yeah, I've heard rumors about that. I guess we'll never fully know. Let's see. I'm trying to find the series. God, they just make it so hard. This is what pisses me off about rebooting and rebooting and rebooting. You want to just find Flash. It used to be you could just go and like, oh, I'm going to just go look for the Flash. No, I got to go, okay, see, Flash series. I go here. Okay. Go to the Flash series. 1950 to 1985? No, I don't. I want the Flash series now. Okay, go back. Which other Flash series are there? Bundle story. Search result. Where do I find the... Okay, there's a series. Oh, is it this series? Is it this series? Is it this series? Is it this... Luckily, it's got Rebirth big right here. I can tell, but the other one, normally I wouldn't be able to tell. Okay, so this is what we just read, which is the Flash Rebirth by itself. Now we're going to have Flash Rebirth number 1. And so this is the trade. It collects Flash 1 through 8. This is a big trade. Holy shit. This is a 9-issue trade. I should have done research first. So we're going to be doing this for quite a while. 207 pages. All right. So if I go back to the book, what page? Well, it was page 26. So it wasn't really a big issue for the Flash. I thought it was be like a double-sized. Probably explains why they're able to cram it in. 8 issues. Jeez. I have to at least appreciate that DC is willing to do that, though. Put the entire story arc and not do that BS of like, oh, every it's all the same, and like force writers to conform to exactly, 5 issues or 6 issues or 4 issues. Or I think Marvel was doing like 4-issue trades for a while. You're just like, Jesus, Marvel. But okay, let's see. Let's see. Melissa says, I hated the new 52 Superman suit. Yeah, and it didn't win over with a lot of people. The thing is, the problem was the comics were trying to fit the movies. That was the problem. And the argument is that the trunks don't work on live action. As much as we love the trunks, like in the comics and stuff, sometimes when you make things, photorealistic, live action, it doesn't translate the same. And I 100% subscribe to this idea. I like Superman with the trunks. I think I like Batman with the trunks too. But I don't want to see that way in the movies. I just don't. I think redesigning Batman's suit, that's what they redesigned Batman's suit in the movies. Every movie redesigns them, and it works for me. Superman, Man of Steel movie suit worked okay for me. I was okay with it. But they put it in the comic books because they knew the movies were going to, and so it's like fans don't need that exact. We just don't. Like going back to Batman 89, right? When they made the original, they made it all that entire black suit. It was fine. They didn't do the gray and the blue. It was black in the movie. It's fine. Fans are fine. It's just do that. Quit. Anyways. So I think DC finally got it. They were like, yeah, this isn't working. People just want the classic Superman look. I think people are more forgiving because they've seen Batman's suit change so much that they're more willing to accept it. But Superman, he's just iconic. You can't mess with it. Let's see. Marani says, I don't mind the bat suit without the trunks. Looks sleek. I hate the new 52 bat militaristic suit. It symbolizes Dan Didion and Tom King's nihilistic garbage. I personally prefer his classic pre-52 bat suit with the trunks. I miss the iconic classic pre-52 Batman. Well, I don't know if there is an iconic one though, because I personally I can't stand the blue and the gray. I hate that. Like, it's like Civil War colors. Like, why is Batman wearing? Originally, it was like the blue, because you can't really do black very well in comics, so you have to kind of throw in the blue color there to like give it some sort of sense of depth, because you can't. Black is just black, and it makes things too muddy, and you can't show. How do you say it? You can't show like shape or depth. So the blue, like dark blue, substitute, but that blue just kept getting lighter and lighter. And the next thing you know, it's like gray and blue and gray. And I never liked that. It's like, it's supposed to be the Dark Knight, not some cartoon, but that's also a product of the 60s TV show. And again, comics trying to emulate that. I, of course, am biased. I prefer the Frank Miller style Batman, both in Year One and Dark Knight Returns. But I also like the new 52 Batman, I have to admit. By Greg Capullo's art, of course, makes it look good. I'm a little bit more forgiving with Batman designs, though, like I said. And I actually do kind of like the militaristic looking suits with the patches, or not the patch, like the pouches and all the different things. And the reason why is because Batman is all about utility. And he has to rely on, I don't want to say gadgets, he has to rely on equipment. And you don't have equipment if you're just wearing a pure skin tight spandex. It's like, the whole famous line from Batman 89, where does he get those wonderful toys? I hate when you just pull them out of nothing. And I kind of like seeing Batman geared up. So, but that's me, and I'm a boy. So boys prefer different things, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. Dominic Powell's here. He says, good evening, everyone. Well, good evening to you, Mr. Powell. Or is it good morning? I don't know. Melissa says, I hate the DCU and Snyderverse. Melissa, you hate too much. Let go of your hate. It's going to send you to an early grave. We don't want that. If you wanted classic Golden Age Batman, you could be calling Batman Bat-Man. Yeah, you could. You could. I don't think anyone wants classic Golden Age Batman. I do want to see Golden Age Superman back. Like, just temporarily. I would so love to see Golden Age Superman put in a story, but and write him like he was written in the Golden Age. That would be hilarious. Because Superman was a dick. If you read these Golden Age Supermans. Oh my God. Hopefully one day we get past all this political correct nonsense and people grow fucking spine and a pair of balls. And if you're a boy, that is. I wouldn't want you to grow a pair of balls if you're a woman. We can go back to joking about things and not being fucking insulted by every little thing, right? And if you swat a woman on the ass, you're not going to jail for life for sexual assault. Stupid, heavens forbid. You shouldn't really do that in real life, maybe. But you can joke about it in a comic book where a comic book character smacks a girl in the ass. Like, we're so sanitized and just so we can't do anything if someone's going to get upset. It's like, I was about to say, don't people miss living life? And then I realized the people that are upset about this never did live any life. So they're not losing anything. That sucks. It makes me sad. New 52 Batman was garbage. No, he wasn't, Melissa. You're being so hateful. Big meanie. New 52 Batman was pretty much unchanged, by the way. There were two characters that DC didn't mess with when New 52 occurred with, and that was Green Lantern and Batman. They were pretty much, the editorial directive was proceed as normal. Because those were the biggest selling comics and they didn't want to mess. So they did this New 52 initiative where they changed everything else because they didn't have to worry if it failed because the comics were already failing. But Green Lantern and Batman weren't failing. So they were like, don't change those. Keep those the same. Because if everything fails and those fail too, then we're worse off than before. And so that was, and in my mind, I think that was the big red flag that the New 52 should have never been done. Because if you weren't willing to commit to the bit, as your boy Zach always says, then you shouldn't have done it. Like, the New 52 it was a dumb idea. And the reason New 52, I think Rebirth shows us the failings of a New 52. It's like, it wasn't that we needed these characters changed. We just need the characters done right and well. Well, quality. People respond to quality. Golden Age Batman is a badass. And I like classic Golden Age Batman, aka Earth 2 Batman, and Silver Age Bronze Age, aka Earth 1 Batman. I don't know, Melissa, because Batman in the Snyderverse is very much like Golden Age Batman. So you're getting a Pinocchio, one Pinocchio for that. Batman and Robin by Tomasi was good. I have not read that, but that is on my bucket list. I do like Tomasi, and especially for Robin. I'm not a big Robin. You guys know me. I'm not a big Robin guy. It took a lot of convincing to even accept Robin as a character for me. Sergeant Bats was a guy who helped me do that through books like Batman Year One by Chuck Dixon, which was really good. And I've started to accept the Robin character a little more now. But even then, I was like, Damian's a freaking retard. And I don't mean that in the sense of anyone with mental challenges. I mean retard in the sense that he was just a stupid character. Like, just as, I just was like, I hate Damian. The idea of Batman having a kid and then just being his Robin. I was like, this is all dumb. And then Tomasi came along and turned me around. And I think that's a lesson for the story too, by the way, is keep your mind open. Comics should commit to the bit, but you shouldn't have to commit. Always be willing to have your mind changed. And that's the words of advice from Ash to you. If my advice means anything. I think if you think about it, I think it's words to live by. Always be willing to change your mind. I'm not saying be a sucker and just be pushover, but don't dig your heels in and just think you always know everything. That's a way to fall into failure, is think that you're always right. I'm definitely not always right. I'm often confident about the things that I say. I can be argumentative, but usually the reason I'm argumentative is because I believe in what I'm saying and I want you to convince me that I'm wrong. I don't want to just accept I'm wrong. So oftentimes I'll argue because if you're right, you'll break through my argument and I'll go, yeah, okay, I got something to think about now. And Tomasi, in that case, made a solid argument, not through a direct argument, but through his work. I read it, actually through Superman, believe it or not, is how I discovered, through Superman, I discovered that Robin was a better character. And then it led me to read Super Sons, which I got to read more Robin. And then I got to eventually read Tomasi on Detective Comics. And I was like, man, this character has got way more than I expected. But I've never read anyone else write Robin. And I never read anyone else write Damian Wayne that I liked. That's the problem. Is I am not convinced that anyone besides Tomasi can write Damian Wayne correctly. And that's a big problem. And now we've got editorial at DC. He's just basically murdered. Figuratively, they've murdered Damian Wayne. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're screwing that all up. So whatever. Tehillim says Joshua Williamson's Robin run out next week. Yeah, I have a mixed bag because I like Joshua Williamson. Right, I'm reading his Flash right now, but even good, I don't know. We'll see. I hope he does good. I don't expect it'll be good, not because Josh Williamson is not a capable writer, but because DC editorial has created circumstances that are going to hamstring Joshua Williamson's ability. And the problem is Joshua Williamson will be writing inside of a box that will not let him do his best work or do the character justice, right? And that's we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'll be willing to admit. Hopefully, you seeing that I'm wrong, you seeing that I'm willing to admit when I've been wrong, because I could have hid it. I could have just pretended I was on the Robin bandwagon the whole time, and no, I'm me willing to admit that I'm wrong will show you that I have an open mind and I'm not just, I'm genuine, at least, you know, like my opinions or disagree with my opinions. I hope you will always at least walk away and go, you know what? Ash is a dumb fuck, but you know, at least he's always honest. You know, he doesn't bullshit us. And so hopefully you can at least feel that way. Teelam says, I don't mind. Wait, Batman don't kill the nihilistic serial killer, so-called Batman. Oh, Melissa said, Batman don't kill like the nihilistic serial killer, so-called Batman from the DCU. Batman Golden Age killed. I don't know, Melissa, do you miss the part Batman shooting people? Because, yeah. I don't mind the Morrison Batman and Son, says Teelam, as well as Batman Robin run. When Tomasi, then he takes over and gives a nice cleanup. Okay. I'm willing to give Morrison a second chance because of Tomasi. So maybe we'll see. But it's good. I follow Professor Geek and Fan Man Aspirational Heroes path, and I reject the New 52 and Snyderverse and Arrowverse. Well, there were aspirational heroes in the New 52, Melissa. I think you might be in jeopardy of following these other people a little bit too closely and just accepting what they say on face value. So I don't accept what they say on face value. I don't really know much about Fan Man. I have my issues with Professor Geek. I don't believe Professor Geek is a genuine person. So at least not on his channel. He may be genuine in real life. I don't know the guy personally, but I think he's succumbed to the video star personality, that's out there to get clicks more than whatever. Yeah. I think New 52 had its F-ups for sure. I'm not going to try to sell you. I don't like the New 52. I wish they would have never done it. But it doesn't mean it was all terrible. Some of the best stuff I've read in DC is in New 52. So it's not black and white like that. It wasn't like all of a sudden Peter Tomasi started learning how to write during Rebirth, or Scott Snyder, or Josh Williamson, or Robert Venditti, or any of these Jeff Johns. Like, all these guys were just like, we just can't freaking write. We're just doing shit. Oh, in Rebirth, hey, let's go back to writing. Let's write quality now. Like, it didn't work that way. Like, did DC have some stupid ideas? Yes. Were there some bad books? Yes. Is it fine for you to not like them? Absolutely. I'm just trying to throw in a let's be fair rebuttal. Like, that's all. Teelam says, give the first 2 issues a try. First 2 issues of Batman and Son. Let's see. I miss Super Sons Silver Age concept revived by DC Rebirth. A Silver Age. Miss the Super Sons, a Silver Age concept revived by. Wasn't the Silver Age Super Sons actually Batman and Superman though? I'm not super familiar with it, but if I recall, Super Son, I don't think it was like Batman and Superman having kids. I could be wrong. I thought it was just young Superman and young Batman. I don't know. I don't know very much about Silver Age DC. Melissa says, no, I made up my mind. Professor Geek is my friend. And hey, I'm not saying you can't be friends. You know, I I hope I'm your friend. I mean, I doesn't, you just discount what I say? I don't know. Because clearly, anyways, I don't want to argue with you, Melissa. I appreciate you being here. I'm just being real with you. That's all. I'm taking the first 2 issues of the Joshua Williamson Robin run. Oh, okay. Yeah, I might read them. I might read them for the channel, for sure. As far as collecting, we'll see. I really just have no desire to give DC my business. Super Sons came out in physical form, and I'm sure as you, if anyone else would know for sure. And I was this close. I was at the comic book store, and I was like, oh, should I get this? Because my original argument was I'm not getting it because it's digital. I'm like, I'm not buying digital comics. That's not what I'm here for. And yes, I have bought digital comics before. I bought the Superman Man of Tomorrow and the Batman, the animated, what was it called? The New Adventures, which was the animated series thing. I bought those, but it was an exception based on the fact that it was the middle of COVID, right? We were only a couple months into COVID. Comic book stores weren't even open. You couldn't even buy comics. They were 99 cents. And like I said, it's an exception to the rule. Now that comic book stores are back open and we've been able to go to them for months and they're printing comics, my mind is pretty still set on that. Like, I don't want to buy digital comics. And when I say that, I mean specifically like new releases. Yes, I advertise Comixology all the time, but as a way to buy like back issues or old trades, to read at a discount. That's what I'm promoting here. And I buy new issues for the collectability. So I saw the issues on the shelf and I was like, oh, here it is, physical floppies. Maybe I should get these. And I decided not to. And what I decided was I'm going to get these in back issues. Because back issues give more money to your retailer and less money to the publisher, which is why publishers, by the way, hate back issues. And that's why they want you to buy digitally, because then they get the money, the back issue money. And that's why also they're willing to sell it for super cheap, because even super cheap returns are better than no returns. But I'm like, you know what? When this whole series is over, probably within 6 months, I'll find these in dollar bins. And I'll be able to get the whole series for like $7 instead of paying $4 an issue. Because like, it's 7-issue series. That's $28. Once upon a time, I'd have been happy. Super Sons is great. Even though it's not the artist I like, and they really downgraded the artist for this run, but whatever. Still Tomasi. I would have been like, here, take my money, DC. But I don't want to give publishers my money. If you're going to make your universe something I dislike, man, you want to talk about, New 52. Melissa hates New 52, obviously. It's obvious. I feel like I feel like I'm that way as Melissa is, but about this new Infinite Frontier nonsense. New 52 seems like a masterpiece. It seems like a brilliant design. Compared to this Infinite Frontier. I hate what DC is doing. I cannot stand it. It just chaps my hide. This is like them just spitting in your face month after month with their nonsense. And they've already told you where they're going. Now, remember that whole future, what was it called? Future state? They basically said, here's the end goal. And now buy our comics to see how we get there. And I go, this end goal's stupid. This is terrible. And now you want me to buy a comic that you kill all my characters and this is where we're going? What the Naomi's on Justice League? Are you fucking out of your mind? But Ash, Super Sons is good. Yeah, so what? It's one good comic that I have to read that takes place in a universe full of crap. No, I don't buy. I buy mainstream comics because I love the investing into a shared universe. I love diving into that world. No matter which issue I'm in that world for a little bit, and that world is constantly taking shape and changing, and events are happening, and they affect all these other characters. And I love that. It's something that only the comics medium does. I don't get that out of indie comics, unfortunately. It's the one thing. So indie comics have to be a lot better for me, right? Indie comics have to be twice as good in quality as, say, a Marvel or a DC title to me, because they don't have that strength. Now, the sad state is a lot of indie comics are twice as good as Marvel and DC. In fact, they're a lot more than twice as good in many cases, because Marvel and DC just keep going, let's keep getting worse. So, yeah. So that's why I buy mostly indies these days. I just don't want to invest into a universe that's terrible. I want to read these series. I have all the Super Sons comics, except for the new ones. I have the original series in digital form because that's how I bought it originally, and I liked it so much that I went and rebought it. But I bought them on eBay for, I think I bought the whole run on, well, no, that's not right, because I started collecting on issue 13. So I bought the first 12 issues on eBay. I think I spent like a total of $20. It was like yeah. So, yeah, I mean, but I think it was a good value. So now I have those, and I have the Adventures of the Super Sons series. I have the special Super Sons Dynamite issue. I have all of them because I love the Super Sons. And I'll get these eventually, but I'm just going to get them in back issues. I don't need to have them immediately. And that's the thing that the collector in me knows. You just wait. Time's coming. You'll have them. Don't need to have them immediately. And since it's not continuity, there's no worry about them ever going up in value, because nothing's happening in these books that are going to affect continuity. And so they're not going to, since they don't matter, collectors won't care. And I don't have to worry about them becoming like Venom, which is what I missed the boat on. Yeah, try collecting the first 12 issues of Venom. See how much that costs you. That sucks. I missed that boat. I can't do that. And that's a reason why I buy floppies, because I'm going to pay the $3.99 so that I don't have to pay $100 later, because that's what it would cost or more to get Venom number 3. I could be off. I haven't actually, someone's going to fact check me right now, but it's a lot. Venom 3 is, and a lot of the issues actually, they're all these different first appearances of this or that or whatever. Like, that whole first 12 issues is full of keys. Super Sons is not going to be keys, so I'll get those in the dollar bin later. No one's going to care. Trust me, if I can get the original Super Sons for just a couple bucks an issue, I'm sure I'll get this digital series that's going to be forgotten by tomorrow. And I'm not saying that in a term to drag it down. I know people like to heal and love it. I expect I'll love it. I'm just saying it's going to be in the discount bin later, and then I'll be in my collection, and I won't have missed out, and I won't have supported DC doing their BS. Sorry. I'm just totally on a sour step stool today. Marnie says, no, there was a 2 or 3 part story where Batman and Superman actually had sons. I think that they didn't explain it as a wish fantasy they normally did with deviations from continuity. Oh, okay. So the Super Sons story was kind of like a what if almost, like, hey, Okay, that's fine. That's kind of cool, actually. Of course, real Super Sons wasn't that way. And moving on. Not that crappy Elseworld Super Sons that Ridley did. There's a. I don't even want to know. I don't even. Ridley, Jesus. How much extra is it for the Comixology Unlimited? 50 cents more, rough guess, or how does it work? In case I might want to do it on my end. For the Comixology Unlimited? I don't know what your question is exactly. So Comixology Unlimited is $5.99 a month, American dollars. And then you get access to any books that say Unlimited on them. Like the Flash Rebirth says. Let's see. Like right here on the Flash Rebirth, you see the Unlimited tag on the corner of it. Any of the books that are marked, you can just read. So you also get a 15% discount off of purchase of new books. So, which is why when I go to like the sales, oftentimes the prices don't always match. So like this book, this Thor, I believe is $2.99 for non-members, but it's $2.54 for me so obviously you're going to save more the more you spend. That's how that works. Hopefully that, I didn't understand your question exactly, but hopefully that all-encompassing answer helped. Let's see. Super Sons was an imaginary story. Batman said, okay, so Melissa says the same thing. That's fine. That's cool. Imaginary story. You know nothing says Infinite Frontier has Bendis's fingerprints all over it. Amen. Absolutely. It is Bendis. This is like Bendis just trying to take over DC. This feels so much like, I'm just going to have DC's going to owe me royalties on everything they go forward because I've just put my fucking stamp on it. He's like a dog. When you walk, if you have a male dog and you walk them, they have to like piss on everything to mark their. That's what Bendis is. It's like walk over. Hey Bendis, look, his Legion of Superheroes. Hold on, lift my leg up. Okay, it's mine now. Hey Bendis, Justice League. Hold on, lift my leg up. This is what. Sorry. Pre-52 was a merger of Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth S, X, and 4, and Dakota Wars. No, I don't think that's the case, Melissa. I mean, figuratively that might be the case, but not exactly, I don't think. I'm not an authority on this subject, so I don't want to get argumentative, really. But my understanding of the New 52 was basically DC wanting to get more edgy and be more Marvel-like because they're getting their asses fucking handed to them by Marvel since the 70s. Since Stan Lee and Jim Shooter came and were like the 1-2 knockout punch to DC, DC's never recovered. And even when like Image Comics lost their 7 freaking All-Stars and everything, Marvel still just was kicking the teeth into DC. Because DC has become the company that doesn't not know how to fail. Like, as soon as they start to succeed, they're like, and they just sabotage themselves and fail. As evidenced by New 52. When New 52 started, they were succeeding. They blew up. Of course, New 52 is a bad idea. Real evidence actually is Rebirth. Because Rebirth came along and they're like, look, we're sorry. We effed up. Please forgive us. Like a abusive husband. I only beat you because I love you. No, like, I'm sorry if that's too. I don't mean to that joke about that sort of stuff. That's not good. But it's Rebirth was beating Marvel in 2016. DC was the champ. They were the market share leader. But they couldn't step on the throat. They had their boot on Marvel's throat, and all they had to do was step down. But they didn't. they instead decide, you know what, we're going to kill off our new age of heroes that's doing Marvel better than Marvel. And we're going to bring Bendis over and screw up our company like he was doing at Marvel. Marvel was failing under Bendis, allowing DC to rise to the top. So what do? They say, hey, we're going to give your guy who's making you fail, we're going to spend a bunch of money and bring him over to us. And Marvel's like, okay, here you go, have him. Oh, how's that market share going, DC? Unbelievable. Did you know Doomsday Clock was the #1 comic every single issue? 12 issues. #1. No, that's what DC was doing for 3 straight years. No, let's cancel that shit. Why on earth would you go, hey, why on earth would you go, hey, Jeff John, man, you are hitting the nail on the head. The fans are loving it. For each issue, you are the #1 selling book. That's unheard of in the industry. Maybe the fans are resonating. We should do this. No, let's actually abandon it and rewrite Doomsday Clock so that it no longer matters. And it's not actually going to affect Rebirth. And we're going to do Wonder Comics instead because people really want Daily Trujillo and Naomi and Wonder Twins. They want bestiality sex orgies for kids. That's what they want. Stupid. Yeah, DC doesn't know how to win. They don't want to win. As soon as they start to go, we got to be, they're the Bernie Sanders of comics. Sorry, got political again. Batman Beyond and Batman 666, aka Batman and Bethlehem, are better futures for DC. Dark Detective and the looks like the Superman, so many BF titles. I like Dark Detective. He says. Sorry. Dark Detective. Are you talking about the Mariko Tamaki books from Future State? I did not like those. They're beautiful to look at. I give you that much, but they were trash writing. Nothing happened. Let's see. My late ex-husband Mark raised my stepson Jake's stepbrothers and his brother Matt's half-brothers Jason and Brandon on classic Marvel DC 2. Yep, I hear you. I was raised on classic Marvel, not so much DC, but times change. And it's okay. Like, it is okay to be critical. Lord knows I am hypercritical a lot of the time. Just don't let it get so much that you're closed-minded. Because even when everything seems to be shitty, there's still good things going on. Paulo Costa's here. He says, "Good morning, Ash." And you know what that means? You know it. Stream is ending soon. Welcome, Paulo. Good to see you. As always, you are like my alarm clock. It's time to go. And it's not because we don't love seeing you, Paulo. It's just because it's late. We'll be ending this real soon. I wish you could get here earlier, Paulo, but I know you got other real life concerns and you're working busy and stuff. And that's my fault for being on the West Coast. But I don't know what else to do. To quote Alan Moore, it's an imaginary story, aren't they all? Good. That's a good quote. I still believe that Bendis got as much power as he did DC because the time that they signed him up was very ill and they gave him what they wanted to make as a wish gift. I think you're saying that tongue in cheek, Maranya. I don't know if you're 100% serious. I don't know. I think that's a really dark joke. I mean, I'm not really offended by dark humor, but I wouldn't go that. I don't know. Because from my understanding, he had recovered as much as he could from his illness. Obviously, you're never going to recover fully, and he's getting older. But there was a point where they weren't sure if he was going to live, and obviously he's living. So I think that all happened well before DC got him. Let's see. Figured he was dying and wouldn't have to pay off the contract. Oh, that's dark. Ooh, That's dark. That is dark, Maranya. Wow. I'm going to remember that you said that, though. So I can, if ever I go too dark and you call me on it, I'm now going to be able to pull this out of my back pocket and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You said this. Let's see. Dominic says, I knew about that, but I didn't know how the reason why DC Comics gave Bendis so much power. I think they gave, my personal opinion is they gave Bendis so much power because they believed in the hype. I mean, it's as simple as that. Sometimes things, so you hear of Occam's razor, sometimes the simplest solution is the answer. Or most of the time, I believe, is the theory of Occam's razor is. It's like Kathleen Kennedy. Why is she still in charge over at Lucasfilm? That chick is fucking horrible. She is the perfect example of why Pepper Potts would never exist. Personal assistants do not become CEOs of companies. That's what Kathleen Kennedy is. Now, in comic books, Pepper Potts can do it and she can become awesome and blah, 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 blah. But it's a comic book, right? Kathleen Kennedy is a personal assistant who got in charge. Imagine like Heather Antos running Marvel. That's what Kathleen Kennedy is. But why is she still there? Because when Disney bought Lucasfilm, she wasn't the personal assistant. All that's happened under Lucas. This was years and years and years went by when Disney bought Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy was in charge. So obviously, if we're spending billions of dollars to acquire Lucasfilm, the person who's running it must be awesome. Because if you fire her, you then have to answer to your shareholders. DC basically did so much to get Bendis that they can't undo it because egg is on their face. But now that they fired Didio, I'm actually kind of surprised. I think Bendis's days might actually be numbered, to be honest with you. I think it's being handled like diplomatically so that Bendis can sort of leave in a fashion that's not, because I think Bendis, from what I understand about the industry, everything I've heard, is that behind the scenes, Bendis is like the nicest guy. Like everybody likes Brian Michael Bendis. Like he's doesn't have enemies. He it's like that. So it's different when you're a fan and you're just buying the books and he's just a face and you're like, F what he's doing. But when you know people in person and they're your friends, I mean, look how loyal Melissa is to Professor Geek, right? Because Professor Geek is her friend. Now, Professor Geek has done me wrong, so I have a problem with him. You see what I'm saying? So I have a complaint against him, but Melissa's like, yeah, but he's my friend, so what? And I'm not trying to say anything about Melissa or anything like that. I'm just using it as an example of why Bendis continues where he's at, because we may have a problem with him, but the people at DC are like, yeah, but Bendis is our pal. We love Bendis. Paula says, we have an 8-hour difference, Ash. We have a bigger difference than that, Paulo. You and me. No, I don't know what I was saying. Let's see. They figured he was good at creating products to adapt. I think he dazzled them because he knows how to speak cinema language. I think that's part of it too. At the time, Bendis was like, I'm kind of working with the Marvel stuff, and they were hoping their movie. Yeah, there's probably a lot of stuff. And I think and Dan Didio was running things, remember? And Dan Didio drooled over Marvel. Like, he was just like, I wish I was Marvel. Marvel's the best. That's another big problem with Dan Didio, is because he idolized his enemy too much. And so he drove DC, and it should have been like, we can step on your throat, Marvel. We're going to ruin you. We're going to be the best comic company. We're going to embarrass you every chance we get by how awesome our company is. Nope. Couldn't stand doing that. Melissa's son says, what's MRSA? So MRSA is MRSA. Ronnie already answers. It stands for methicillin-resistant I can't pronounce. I know the word Staphylococcus aureus. Yeah, there you go. So bacterial infection, resistance to antibiotics. It's a bad thing. MRSA's messed up. So I think without modern medicine, Bendis would be dead. Alternate universe timeline starts right now when Ash says Heather Antis runs Marvel. To heal him. That is the chat of the night. Dylan says, I don't hate Bendis. Why should I? He gave me some indie comics from his own universe that I enjoy. His mainstream stuff I don't like so much makes great fool's gold. I don't hate Bendis either. When I say things like I hate Bendis, what I'm really saying in shorthand is I hate Bendis's works. Bendis is probably, by everything that I've heard of reputation, a really nice guy. Things like that. And it's easy to become hyperbolic and boisterous, things like that. And I really don't mean to communicate that I have any actual negative ill will to Bendis. I don't like anything that I've read by him. And I really dislike some of the stuff at DC. And some of the most recent stuff that he's done at DC is downright inexcusable. It's not even bottom of the barrel pro level quality. For someone that's getting his page rate, someone needs to get on his ass. So the shit he's writing is fucking awful. At least when he started on Superman, there was a little bit of an effort. I mean, I gave his Man of Steel run first couple of issues. I was rating him highly. You can go back and watch the videos. I explained why these issues were good, what Bendis is doing right. Several of the first issues of Action Comics and Action Comics and Superman, there was a few of the early issues I rated very positive too. But that was when the veneer started coming away, and then he started doing these phoned in issues. I was like, what the hell is this? And the more I started reviewing his books, the more it became negative and very far less positive, until eventually got to the point where there was just never any positive. And now the writing you read today, you go back to what he was writing, when he joined DC, it's night and day. It's like the guy came in, he was trying to work hard, and now he just phones in crap. One good thing Bendis did was Ultimate Spider-Man. My son Jake and stepson Brandon both love Ultimate Spider-Man. I did not like Ultimate Spider-Man. I did do the first 6 issues here on Storytime Live. But I will say it wasn't awful. So there's that. Compared to what his DC work is today, it's fine. But the reason I'm critical about Ultimate Spider-Man is because he had a template. He basically just wrote what someone else had wrote. He basically plagiarized a story and then did it worse than the original. If you're going to do that, if you're going to copy, it's like being a cover band, right? If you're going to be a cover band or just be a band and you're going to do a cover song, do an equal, if not better version of the song. If you're going to do a shittier version of the song that someone else wrote, don't do it at all. You don't have any business doing it. That's what Bendis did to me. It's oh, look, you did Spider-Man over again, except you did it worse. So to your son, I would say, I'm glad that you like this, but here's the better stuff that was actually done before. This was pretty good. Here's the original song that's even better. So that's why I'm a little critical about that. If I were to meet Bendis in person, I'd want him to sign the Jinx World stories that of his that I enjoy, not his mainstream DC Marvel. I wanted to read Powers because I watched the first couple of episodes, which is really super hard to find because it's a PlayStation original. PlayStation did TV shows. Yeah. So those have fell in some sort of memory hole no one has the rights to. So try to find those. I would really like to watch the rest of the series because I was enjoying the series. It's a very budget TV show, which I expect because it's PlayStation. But I was enjoying it. So then I wanted to go read the comics. It's I'll read the comics. But if I remember correctly, Powers is also Brian Michael Bendis artwork. No, maybe it's Oming or whatever his partner that he might have been in. Sometimes, anyways, it wasn't good art. So, let's see. Marnie says, I just feel that DC looked at him being sick, which was after he signed on, and gave Bendis what he wanted. But they wouldn't have to do it. He faked it out and got better. I think Bendis was sick well before he came to DC, Marania. So, Like, I remember the whole sickness thing, like, being while he was at Marvel. And then people, like, explaining, like, when he kind of came back, people were just like, oh, he's not the same, like, Bendis he used to be. But, let's see. Serum reminds me of the mutagen from TMNT. Yeah. He loves both the classic Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. Says Melissa about her son. He created Jessica Jones, Luke Cage's wife. Hooray. Jessica Jones is such a great character. So great, she doesn't even have a superhero name. Almost like Naomi. So imaginative. What a great comic writer. Sorry, I'm not impressed by Jessica Jones. I don't know why other people are, to be honest. First season of the TV show was decent, though. Powers has Oming artwork, but it fits the storyline of the world he's creating. The problem with it is that Oming spends most of his time following Bendis' directions for talking heads. Well, I mean, you got to do what the writer tells you. But he's not a good artist to me. And I'm okay with independent books not having great art. Like, sometimes you can't afford a great artist because the great artists are supposed to be at Marvel and DC. But not anymore. And if I were... Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Because look what's going on in the independent scene right now. Scott Snyder's got Tony S. Daniel doing their Noctera book. We got Jeff Johns doing a Gary Frank book, Geiger. I'm buying that. Buying both of them. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Like, there's some big artists, I think, going over in the indie scene. I'm drawing a blank, though, because I'm getting old, like Biden. But the DC and Marvel aren't paying for talent anymore. If Bendis was really... I would have loved to have seen Powers. What a big artist. Luke Cage has been around since the 70s, almost 50 or 60 years. Wow. Melissa, your math is a little off. I was born in 1973 and I'm 47 years old. So, Luke Cage is, yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to wind down the stream. By the way, Oming has some issues with Bendis. Learned that from his own YouTube channel. Oh. Okay, interesting. I want to thank you guys for being here. I'm not going to read any more issues tonight because of the zero issue. I'm going to do the same thing as I did with Aquaman. Plus, I spent too much time on my soapbox, and I'm already way over being late. So, continuing on with Thursday, we're going to go 2 issues like normal. I'm going to concentrate on doing less soapboxy shit on Thursday. It was not my goal to do stuff. By the way, if anyone's listening, if you're in the chat and you want to be, if you're interested in being on a mic and chatting with me, let me know. I'm more than happy to. I like having people to talk to. I don't really like being the solo voice that I am. I just do it because that's kind of where the situation I'm at. But it's fun having a guest voice. And this is, I don't want to say it's a throwaway stream, but the discussion part kind of is. It's very just ad hoc, throw it together, and then read some comic books. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to me on Discord or Twitter. The best ways to reach me. And hopefully you guys are reading good comics. New comic book day is tomorrow, so get something good. See if I can give you a recommendation. What is coming out for me? Let's see. My new comics is I don't have very many. My pull list is so small. I'm getting Blade Runner Origins number 3 and Usagi Yojimbo number 19. Ugh. That's a small list for me. Let me check the new comics real quick. See if anything that I'm not buying looks interesting. Let's see. We got new issues of Flash, Amazing Spider-Man, Nightwing, Oh my God, the feminization of Nightwing. Tom Taylor Night. Jesus, Justice League 60. So we got Tom Taylor Nightwing, Bendis Justice League. The new Avengers issue is out. X-Force. Monstrous. There's a book that I'm kind of interested in. A bunch of X books. You can't Marvel. Half of Marvel is X books. Let's see. The new Alien series, issue 2 comes out. Haha is an interesting series by the creator of Ice Cream Man. That's out. Walking Dead Deluxe. A new Valkyrie series. I can't believe there's a new Valkyrie series. Did the original one not just fail hard enough? Just Marvel just keep failing. Batman Fortnite. 0 point number 1. There you go. Book of the week material right there. Women of Marvel number 1. That looks as cringe as hell. See, Batman Ra's al Ghul. It's a Neil Adams book. Number 6 finally coming out, the last issue. I actually want to read that on the stream. You Promised Me Darkness, number 1. That's some indie book. That looks got a freaky cover. Yeah. Oh, I'm just trying. That's sorry. I wish I had a bunch of stuff to rave about and be excited, enthused. But that's the state of the comic book industry we're in right now. So, hashtag. Hopefully, you can find some good comics to read. Don't forget, tomorrow we're doing Criminal Cast. Cruel Summer is amazing. Holy shit. Ed Brubaker, you can't do wrong. Speaking of Ed Brubaker, next week, Comic Book Day, Reckless Book 2 comes out. So get that. I'm getting it. Holy, you can't go wrong. It's a $24.95 cover price. You can go, oh my God, Ash, it's steep. Yes, but it's at least 6 issues long. And it's hardcover, and it's beautiful. And it's better written than anything that I just looked at right now on the screen. It's phenomenal. And we'll do an episode. You can join us. Come to the Criminal Cast probably a few weeks afterwards. We'll do an episode on it. So thanks for watching this far.